It is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and House of Ruth is hosting its third annual Man Up event with the Baltimore Ravens tonight.
And ABC 2's Christian Schaefer is emceeing tonight's festivities at the Baltimore Country Club in Roland Park. He joins us live from North Baltimore to tell us about what's going on tonight. Christian.
Yeah, guys, we moved inside the building because we're really hoping to raise a lot of money here tonight for House of Ruth. They do such great work here in the community. I'm back here with Lisa Nitschus, the training and education coordinator for House of Ruth. And we were just talking about some of the numbers that you're dealing with. 7,000 phone calls every year. I mean, that's just a high volume every single day.
That's right. We're getting over 30 distinct callers every day, over 7,000 calls to our 24-hour hotline, which is 410-889-RUTH. And 2/3 of those calls are people looking for shelter. And of those calls, unfortunately, we have to turn many of them away. So we really need support for services and really finding ways that we can support and protect survivors.
And when you start to think about those numbers, I mean, each distinct case is very likely a woman going through an extremely rough time. I mean, it's just hard to imagine that many.
That's right. By the time somebody has reached out to an organization like the House of Ruth, we know that it's probably at a lethal level. That, you know, a lot of their friends and family have gotten frustrated, that maybe have given up on them, and they don't have the supports that they need to get out safely. And so they contact us looking for help.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that's why it's important for the fundraising effort to go forward. I mean, just to fund these programs that you guys do over there.
Absolutely. We need to support the programs, but also really shift the focus. For 40 years, we've been doing a great job of serving victims, but we can't just keep protecting people. We need to create a community shift where the violence isn't happening in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Typically, although not in every case, but in most cases, I think it's safe to say it's a man that's involved as the abuser in these situations. And so the Man Up event is aimed at really targeting the men to take some responsibility here.
Absolutely. So more often we're seeing men being violent toward women, but we know that we see violence in same-sex relationships. We see violence with women perpetrating against men. But the unique thing about men's violence against women is that it's rooted in a culture that really looks like it approves it. You know, you see violence in our media. You see the way that we sell merchandise in this community doesn't really value women in general, which is what gives abusive men the impression that everybody's doing what they're doing.
You know what's so tragic is that you hear these stories all the time about a child growing up in a family that's abusive, and the child grows up and winds up being abusive. It just seems like that the child would, having seen that, not want to do that, but unfortunately it happens too often.
Yeah, particularly boys. We know they're 8 times more likely to become abusive if they grow up in a violent home. And we see lots of abusive men shake their heads and say, I never wanted to do this. But it's a lack of other skills. They are modeling what they've seen, and they don't really know what to do to resolve conflict otherwise. So we need to teach them those new skills.
Yeah, so maybe the Man Up initiative can help guys get more used to some of these things. That's what they're talking about here in Roland Park tonight as the fundraiser gets going for the House of Ruth and the Man Up initiative. That is coming up in a few minutes. We'll be back to talk about it with you guys in just a few more minutes. Let's send it back to you in the studio now.
All right. Thanks a lot, Chris. Hopefully they raise lots of money today.